Good morning. I was just sitting here drinking my morning cup of coffee and I was thinking, how would I explain to people how I came about my information if they asked me? I thought it might be a little bit tricky because this is so much involved, but you know, my journey into flat earth began after realising what happened on 9/11, what the Pentagon, the Israelis and the Freemasons, the New York developers and that, did to their own people. It was quite sickening. And then it starts opening things up in the mind. You sort of go through a paradigm shift from just believing to being skeptical about everything, to the point of not believing anything, and search out your own truth with an open mind. And what you're basically doing is opening your mind to the universe. All the information's out there in the universe. Nothing is new under the sun. Nothing is buried that will not be revealed. So if you open your mind to something, you will seek, it's seek and you shall find. You will find the answers, they just come to you. And then I just realised an example would be, this is really mind-blowing, it's crazy. Lots of things come to me, but I was stuck between two paths and trying to figure out how the electrical or the magnetic field worked through the earth. What configuration did it take? And I ran over a few scenarios, but they weren't quite working out with everything else. And I just happened to be in a conversation with a mate on Messenger. He's in Australia, I'm in New Zealand. And it was nothing to do with anything I was thinking, or flat earth for sure. He just mentioned something, and I thought, this is a sign. So I went searching for what this meant, what this word meant maybe. And anyway, it brought me to the, forget the name of them now, but the big, and the old ships up at the stern there. It's up the front of the boat, isn't it? Yeah. Stern. Bow. Up at the bow. Where they tie the ropes on. There used to be big oak, because it all came from oak. Things were happening, oak was mentioned. And there used to be oak where you tied the ropes on. And it came about the S figure. The S figure to tie your ropes. That was just an example. It just came out of that nothing in particular message from this guy. The messages are coming in from all directions, anytime, anywhere. You have to have the open mind to see it and absorb it. And sure enough, what have I just done recently is a couple of videos on this S shape, the sun's analemma, the magnetic fields of Earth, how they shoot around the Arctic and back out around the south, around the Arctic, back out around the south. And that S shape, the sun's analemma follows the magnetic field of Earth. Obviously that shape comes about over the whole year. So that's how it works. The magnetic field comes up over positive, goes down around negative, back up positive, down around negative. So you got a lower, up and above, below and above Earth system. And this is where the word isotropic comes from, right? Isotropic. You break that down, the original Latin or Greek is change. Turn or change. Turn and change. And when you think about it, just the words alone. English is a great thing. Ice to tropics. because that's what the magnetic fields are doing. They're coming from the ice to the tropics. Come over, turn, and change. Over, turn and change. They come down and avoid each other and shoot off in the opposite directions. Check out my other videos. But that was just a mind-blowing example of how information's always coming in. So that's basically where the flat earth started, and I sat down when we first started being locked down with this COVID 2 years ago. I obviously had a lot of time on my hands, stuck at home. I thought, I'm going to sit down and work out how this flat earth works. And 2 years later I know the whole system. It only took me a couple of months to figure out there was a black hole in the Milky Way, just prior to the physicist Roger Penrose winning a Nobel Prize for his work in suggesting there's a black hole in the Milky Way. They should know by now the sun is on the horizon of the black hole. But it just screws their whole model if they go any deeper, because they expose the whole sun 360 degrees. It's all exposed for their stupid model. But it's not. The sun is tucked into the Milky Way and it shines through like a beam of light, but it's not light, it's all frequency based, so you don't see the beam of light till we see the sun in our firmament through the gaseous layers, through the light spectrum. And all those, the firmament's made up of the gaseous layers which support the layered frequency bands. So frequency is light. So you're seeing through the whole spectrum to get to the light, which is at the top. The sun's at the top. Anyway, so the sun sits in the Milky Way and it turns. Everything is coming out of the centre of Earth, above the Arctic, and it's a place we can't get to, because you go right to as close as you can before you die. It's a narrow, it could be in our realm, it seems like a small area, a couple of thousand miles in diameter, I don't know. But you get in there, it could be infinity. But it starts off on the Earth down here and then comes up like this. It gets wider. So it's massive. It's a vortex, a big spiral, just like vortexing water, and all the bubbles are floating up. Well, you can imagine those bubbles being stars, maybe. And that's pretty much how stars work anyway. And this is why science tells you the stars burst 1 billion years ago. Because of what happens to a star. It expands and then contracts back to its choke point of super energy type thing. But it's doing it on a daily basis, day and night. Day, night, day, night. Obviously you don't see it during the day, do you? Just like the moon, you don't see the moon when the sun's in its face. It's not seen. Despite what science wants to tell you, there is no moon. Well, there is there, the energy is there, but you just don't see it because of the light of the sun. So I sat there and, just started putting it all together, because if I was going to argue with people on flat earth, because I initially joined this flat earth site, can't even remember what it's called, but there's hardly any flat earthers there. They're all these science wannabes, just mocking you, and they're quite rude and disgusting, yet they're just dumb. They don't even know reality. They just parrot their crap they've learnt at school. But some of them know stuff and they let it slip. So you realise, hey, they actually know the system, but they're not letting on. They're just sitting there waiting to see if you figure it out, type of thing. So everything's suppressed, I reckon. And these people are getting paid to sit there And look, watch out. And if someone does spill the beans, whoop, they'll quickly bring out their information. Next thing you see it online. But anyway, I thought if I'm going to argue with people on Facebook, I need to know how it works. So that's why I set my mind to it. And 2 years later, I came up with the whole system. One thing led to another. So if you come across one thing, it has to match this and work with this and work with this. Otherwise, it's no good. You throw it out. And a lot of the science stuff, it just doesn't work. It doesn't match. It's not reality. And then you put it with all the information I read through a lot of Gnostic literature, alchemy and religious texts. It all spells it all out. But you have to know what you're looking for. It's opening the mind up. All religion is actually the truth. All the information is there. But you have to read it the right way. People just take it literally, the simplest form of English, and think that's it. But no, there's a twist to it all. It's definitely allegory. But then sometimes some things are referring to the literal sense, but not that often. But the religion's all about the spiritual mind, the spiritual side of life, where we all come from and going back to. We all know what the physical world's like. We're down here playing it out. It's the spiritual we don't know in the physical world. This is why it's all been written, and you can't alter it. We have to understand it and basically come to the light to find out what it's all about, to find the meaning to life and receive the prize. And you have to gain this information or this prize before you die. It's only attainable in the physical world. But when you die, it's too late. And you all realise, all you ignorant people out there, you're going to know, the minute you die, you get the truth. But it's too late. You'll go, oh shit. And then you get reshuffled, recycled, and come back and have to do it all over again. Reincarnation, that's what it's all about. You'll reincarnate hundreds, maybe thousands of times, till you finally wake up. You don't come back as the same person, same thing. You could even come back as an animal, I'm pretty sure you do. And the lowest form of ignorancy is the lowest type of animal or creature on earth. You might come back as a shrimp or something, or a fish. You might come back as an eagle if you're up there. But maybe they're only for the enlightened ones, being that elevated. But you seem to have choices if you wake up. But if you don't wake up in this real world and understand that all religion is actually a real thing, but you've got to open your mind up to understand it. You know, if you don't understand religion, that you're not a religious person, and someone comes up to you and tells you, oh, you've got to come to the Lord. You know, that's just wacko. You just can't do that. You have to, in your own mind, open up and go there. Because it's all about you. Everything is within you. When Christ came to earth, he didn't come to judge it, he came to save it. So this Christ is within you, coming into you, it's your flood, is saving your world, your life. He's not judging you for being an idiot before. He's come to save you, and you are to go and try and explain it to people that it's actually a real thing. You might not have known anything about religion before, like I never did. So, you know, it's like you're a witness. You've gained this information, and you're a witness, so you need to try and explain it to people. But the average guy knocking on your door telling you, oh, you've got to come to the Lord, you know, that's just, unless you're mentally open to really going for that, it's just never going to work. You have to do it yourself, within yourself. It's all about balance, the mind with the heart, opening yourself to the universe, because we're fractals of the earth, we're fractals of this, what we call the universe. The world is of two hemispheres. The human brain is of two hemispheres. Halfway up your head, you got your brain. That's the flat earth design. The two hemispheres. But then you've got the centre. It is circular, like the flat earth model is circular. The pineal gland, the sun is coming from the centre, projecting out as it goes around. But check out my other videos. But that's how I came to get my information. Started off with reading the Bible, then went from there and read all the other Gnostic stuff, just about the entire Nag Hammadi library. Then go on to Plato, and that's what got me into astrophysics. That was really interesting. I never, wow, it blew my mind when I read something and then I wandered off, went into everything else. I didn't come back to Plato for another 2 years. Then there's all the Egyptian Hermetica. And then Walter Russell's The Secrets of Light opened me up a bit more to what the light is and everything. There's plenty of books out there, all the ancient philosophers. Philosophy of today is just nothing. Philosophy is Gnostic, esoteric information we've all lost through our false indoctrination. The Freemasons own the education system. They run it to avoid you from finding the truth. It's about what they want you to know, not what you should know. And understanding the earth, the flat earth and how it all works, connects you with divinity, the divine creation, and the meaning to life and everything that goes with it. It's mind-blowing. That's all I have to say. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.